All right, we're going to be doing a radio check here soon, so if you're out there on course, listen up for Caitlin.
aka TurtlesharkShooter. I am here to tell you about the Central Florida Region Sports Car Club of America and my favorite autocross club, CFR SOLA. Central Florida Region SCCA hosts 4 different types of motorsports events: club and pro racing, rallycross, time trials and track events, and finally, autocross. Besides photography, one of my favorite topics is autocross. So let's talk
Rocio
about
Cordova
CFR SOLA. We host
and Melissa Allen. If you are here, please come on up and check in for your work.
To find out more about CFR SOLA, you can reach out
and
to
also
us on
Steve
the
Lowe.
social media
So
platforms:
Rocio,
Facebook, Instagram, Linktree, using @CFR
Steve and
SOLA
Melissa.
2. You can also visit our website, www.autocross.cfrscca.org.
hello, Station 3. I guess we're going to be live timing and live streaming on YouTube. So my question was, did we need a SAG card? And the answer is no. Everybody is checked in, and they're getting the cars gridded. We'll get going here real soon. And remember, it is a beautiful day today, nice and windy, which means you're not going to feel yourself getting dehydrated. So please, everybody, remember to drink plenty of fluids. Drink water. Our first driver out is going to be Timothy James in the WRX. Fun fact is my one-day son-in-law, it was time for him to buy a car. He had never bought a car in his life. And he said, you know what? I think I'd like to get one of those STIs. What do they cost? About $150 a month? And we just kind of looked at him. So we all say we want to buy the $150 a month STI. Looking real smooth on the course, and usually we let the first car go all the way through to make sure the timing lights work properly. Ooh, he's looking really smooth. You get a lot for your money, that $150 a month. All right. So far, he's the top time of day at 39.733. We're going to go ahead and launch Alex Vroman in the little Abarth Fiat. And those of you that know me know I really appreciate a good Italian sports car. And this classifies in my mind. So again, the Subaru crossing the finish line with a 39.733. 39.733 is the bar so far. Little squealy tires, little bitty squealy tires. We got the matching Corvettes just launched. We just launched Jason Brzezowski. And the Fiat's going to cross the finish line with a 43.827. 43.827. So out on sport now is Jason Brzezowski in the Grand Sport, and we're going to follow him up with Nicholas Noblet, who we're just launching now, also in a Grand Sport. 2 different years, obviously. Jason crossing the finish line with a 39.414. 39.414, so he has moved the bar for the day down to 39.414. And we have our first novice leaving off the line, Elias Khan on street tires and a Miata. Our Corvette just crossed the finish line with, let's see, 39.231. That's our new top time of day, 39.231. So out on course again, we have the novice in the Miata, and it looks like we're getting ready to launch my buddy Rick Rousseau in the Boxster 25-year anniversary car. Fun fact, I got to race this car at Daytona. It's quite the ride. And again, a message to all you novices, this is your first time out. Your job really is to just learn how to read the cones. Speed comes with time. So Elias in the Miata crossing on his very first run with a 52.259, 52259. So he's learning to race, and he's going to get quicker and quicker and quicker with each run. Next across the finish line is going to be Rick Rousseau. And he crosses with a 39.815, 39815. So out on course now is Michael Simmons in the electric vehicle, the EV. I haven't quite gotten my mind wrapped around the EVs yet, but I'm trying. And Don Wright was just launching his Toyota Spider MR2, Mr. 2 as we like to call him, as we line up Richard Fickus. Hey, the electric vehicle is currently our top time of day with PAX, 38.659, 38.659, top time of day. The Don Wright has been autocrossing for many, many years, as long as I've been around, at least 20 years. And for those of you that are interested, Richard Fickus is out there in the Caldwell D13. Don Wright just crossed the finish line with a 39.427. 39.427. So again, this thing out there on course right now, that's a Caldwell D13. Very quick. It's like a go-kart on steroids. Oh, look at that, a Cadillac Blackwing. Got some interesting cars out here today. The Caldwell will be next to finish, and Richard's going to cross the finish line with a 38.898. 38.898. So, Matthew Griffin out there in the Cadillac Blackwing. It's kind of a neat car. It's the four-door family car that just happens to like to run. Hey, we just launched a Z06 driven by Bill Kassenbaum. My Cadillac's going to cross the finish line with a 40.832. 40.832. So Bill Kassenbaum is in the Atomic Banana Corvette Z06. And he's going to be next to finish. He's going to cross the finish line with a 43.305. 43.305 for our screaming yellow Corvette. Jeremiah McClellan is out there right now on the 335i. There he is. Beautiful car. And Kevin Spence is just now lining up at the start line. Kevin Spence, another long-time autocrosser. Oh, the Corvette was called off course. A late off course call on the Corvette. Meanwhile, Jeremiah McClellan in the 335i crossing with a 41.028. 41.028. So we have Kevin Spence out on course right now in his M3, and we're about to launch Michael Masser in the Mustang GT. So again, Jeremiah across the finish line with a 41.028. Kevin Spence will be next to finish. He's taking that final corner, and he's going to cross the finish line with a 39.947. 39.947. You'll see the longtime autocrossers turning in better times than the newer ones, and that simply is time in. You know, again, as a novice, your job is to learn how to read those cones so you stay on course. Each run, you want to get a little bit faster than your last run. You really want to learn how to race with speed over time. So Michael Masser is going to be next to finish in the Mustang GT. Let's see, and there he goes in the final corner, and he's going to cross the finish line with a 45.398. 45398. Looks like Andy Lester's out there in the Mustang, as John Darnell is staged in his C8 Is he a Z06? No, he's just a C8. He's a Z51, though. And here comes Andy Lester in the Mustang. He's going to cross the finish line with a 42.490. 42.490. John Darnell is out there in the C8 Z51 model. I have a new C8 at home. Not going to race it, though. Thinking about selling it. So if you're interested in a C8, come and see me. Rex Gibson just launched off the line in a Miata. Meanwhile, John Darnell will be next to finish in that C8 Z51 very quick. 41.750. 41.750. Staged in front of us is another WRX driven by Eric Rudy, so another one of those $150 a month cars. I still get a chuckle out of that every time I think of it. And as y'all know, I am a Miata girl at heart, so I'm watching this little Miata, and well set up. It doesn't look like it's leaning a lot through those slaloms toward the back final corner. So let's see what Rex does. Rex crossing the finish line with a 40.731. 40.731. So Eric Rudy is out there in the WRX, as my dear friend Gary Meredith is now staged to start. All right, so Eric Rudy's coming toward the finish line. He's going to do the final corner here. Woo, tight. There we go. He's crossing with a 44.762. 44.762. Gary Meredith, I've raced with him on the track when he was driving a Porsche. I've raced with him when he was driving a BMW out here, and now I see him out here in a beautiful blue Corvette. Ooh, look at Rocio Valencia in the Miata. I think it's Rocio. Gary Meredith, longtime racer. Top time of day, 38.613 in that big Corvette. 38.613. Nice job, Gary. So Rocio Valencia out there in the Miata. It looks like an RF, maybe? And Juan Fernandez is posed at the start line, ready to pilot that Z06 of his.
How about over here?
And that's our novice out there. And again, doing exactly what she needs to be doing, learning how to read the course. So next time we'll see her do a faster run, but this is her reconnaissance run, her very first run as a novice driver. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Or as Steve Harvey would say, welcomes, welcomes, welcomes. Hey, Rocio Valencia crossing on her very first novice run ever with a 58.836. So we look to see her improve those times with each and every run. Meanwhile, Juan Fernandez out there in the Z06 will be next to finish as we launch Jerry Bonnet. Jerry Bonnet, maybe? We'll call it Bonnet. In the Focus RS. One of those sleeper cars. People don't realize how quick they can be. Juan Fernandez in the Z06 crossing with a 39.424. 39.424. Now remember that in A-Stock, Gary Meredith has set your top time of day with a 38.613. So all you A-Stockers, you're looking to beat that 38.613. Jerry Bonnet in the Focus RS is finishing that final tight corner, and he's going to cross the finish line with a 38.089. 38.089. Someone was just called off course. Oh, it's Spencer Wyman in the Focus RS. Bummer. Again, if you're a novice, ask for an instructor to help you read the cones the first time. We have a Focus that's lost out on course. Okay. So Spencer in his first run scores a 47.564, but was called off course. Couldn't find his way out. Everything's set to launch. Jason Dykstra. Jason Dykstra in the Z06, growling its way through this first part of the course as we line up another growler with Matt Mullen in the Mustang. Now he's a novice to autocross, but he has race tires on. Posing the question, if you're a novice, how did you end up on race tires? Inquiring minds want to know. Well, here's the idea, is you can actually run three races as a novice, so perhaps the first two you ran and said, you know what, this would be more fun with more stick. Hey, Jason Dykstra just crossed the finish line with a Z06, running a 40.781. 40781. That is currently good enough for third position in the class, smack in the middle of that 5-car A-Stock or A-Street class. So Matt Mullen out there in that growling Mustang as we get ready to launch Nicholas Trabulsi in the WRX. Oh, a neat car pulling up. Car in front of me is a Challenger, one of my cars of choice. Matt Mullen crossing the finish line in that Mustang with a 48.751. 48.751. Currently in first position in the novice race car class. So Connor Sanuski, and again, I'll just apologize for butchering people's names. He's in the the Challenger Scat Pack, hooptying it out of the start line here. I'm a Dodge fan. Everybody that knows me knows that my tow vehicle, my daily driver, is a Dodge Durango, and I love it. So the Nicholas Trabulsi in the WRX crossing with a 49.859, 49.859. Connor Zanuski in the Challenger Scat Pack was just called off course. Just too much power for him to handle and to stay on course. William Cifuentes in the Miata was just launched. That's a nice looking Miata. I think he's a co-driver. I'm not certain of that though. So again, Connor's going to cross the finish line called off course. So we'll look to see him stay on course with his next run. Again, novices, take it slow for your first run. Just use it as a reconnaissance run. Get faster with each and every run. So again, out on course right now is William Cifuentes in the Miata. And we're also going to launch Dan Simonescu in another Miata. Now, Dan is quite quick. I was watching him at Daytona a couple weeks ago. And this little Miata corner's flat, too. Pretty nice looking. Oh, he wobbled a cone, but it stayed standing. Nice job. Is it still in the box? And it is. It's still in the box. Lucky, lucky. William Suentes in the Miata crosses with a 54.346, 5.4346, and that is in the middle of the pack for the novices on street tires. So Dan is hugging these cones in that little rust-colored Miata out there as we launch John Ferraro in the 928. Wow, when's the last time you saw a 928 actually running? That's cool. There we go, Dan Simonescu with a 38.342. 38.342 for that beautiful little Miata. John Ferraro is in the 928. He's running as a novice, so we'll let him get good and through the course before we launch our next novice, who is Dennis Kavanaugh in the Focus ST. Oh, and unfortunately, our 928 was called off course. I wanted one of these so badly when they first came out. They're just cool cars, and it was Porsche's run at putting some engines in the front of the car. It wasn't as well received as Porsche had hoped it would be, but very interesting cars, and you can pick them up now for a song and a prayer, but unfortunately they're rarely in good running condition, so it's neat to see one of them out here. I might take a gander at this one after the day is over and see what I can find out about it. So he did cross the finish line off course, so we won't announce his time because it's not one you want to see. Dennis Kavanaugh is out there, and he's a novice on race tires on the in the Focus ST on race tires. So he may have come with a friend, and he's doing exactly what he needs to be doing, learning how to read the cones. So again, novices, heads up and watch what he's doing. He's just saying, okay, where's my course? Next time when I can do it a little bit faster, I'll be able to stay on course. A little bit about the Focus STs is, you know, people don't think too much of a Focus. Oh, it's a Ford Focus. They are quite quick, very well-balanced little cars, and the STs are a bargain. So if you're looking for a car that you can throw around the course and have some fun with and still go get your groceries, think about a Focus. So his first run was a 74.578. So we're going to see a much faster run from him the next go-around because he knows where he's going now. So meanwhile, out on course right now is Ron Hawk in his Civic. Again, a novice, so we don't look to see a very fast time for his first run. He's learning where the course is. Oh, nope, nope, you want to turn to the right. Oh, nope, off course, way off course, way off course. But that's okay. Next run, you'll find it. That's right. Keep going. And then you'll want to go to the left of that cone. Well, he's doing it all backwards. And that's all right. Again, first runs. Novices, first runs, don't worry about it. Here comes Richard Fickus in that Caldwell. Now he's looking to beat his previous run time. That Caldwell ran a 38.898 on the first run. So he'll be just as quick, if not quicker, on the second run. Meanwhile, here's Connor Zanuski. Am I saying your name right? Yeah, all right. I used to be Zamowski, so I get it. Connor Zanuski in the Scat Pack. Slow it up, Connor. Find your course first, and then speed up in your next run. He's on race tires. He's got plenty of stick. He just needs to control that power. That's a hard thing to do sometimes. Here comes Richard Fickus around the final corner, and Richard's going to cross the finish line with oh, here we go. Listen up. 37.948. 37948 for the open wheel go-kart on steroids known as the Caldwell D13. Lucky number 13. So Connor's out there kind of navigating his way around the course as we get ready to launch Timothy James in the WRX for his second run. Oh, Connor. My suggestion to Connor, if you're a friend of Connor's, is take an instructor with you. The instructor will point and help you find the course until you're a little more confident reading the cones. So Connor, take an instructor with you. Meanwhile, Timothy James just knocking over a cone out there in his WRX STI as we get ready to launch Alex Vroman in that beautiful little A-Barth for his second run. The A-Barth is sitting on a 43.827, so that's your goal, to beat that one, Alex. Timothy James will be our next to finish, but he is sitting on a cone. His fastest time so far was a 39.733, and he won't beat that with a cone, but we'll see what he does raw time. And he slows up as well. So 40.038 plus one cone. 40.038 plus one brings that to a 42. So Alex Vroman in the Fiat 500 A-Barth is out on course as we get ready to launch Jason Brzozowski. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that our run. Jason B-Ski, we'll call him, in the Grand Sport. He's going to be followed up by another Grand Sport as well. We'll have twin Grand Sports out on course in just a moment. Alex in the A-Barth, 43.028. 43028 for that street mod front wheel drive 500 A-Barth, little Fiat machine. Oh, Jason Brzozowski was just called off course in the first Grand Sport as we just launched the second Grand Sport, driven by Nicholas Noblet. Jason B. Across the finish line with a 39.371, but he was called off course. Meanwhile, Nicholas Noblet is out there in the Grand Sport, and we just launched a driving instructor run. When you take a driving instructor with you, they're not going to drive 10/10ths. They're going to be concentrating on showing you the right line, which is really what you want to see. Oh, Nicholas, top time of day, 37.727. 37.727 for Nicholas Noblet in the Corvette Grand Sport. Driving instructor just picks up a cone. That means he's trying to drive 10/10ths while also trying to explain where he's going. Shame, shame. And we're launching a novice in a Miata. All right, so our driving instructor cautioning with a 52.259. Again, he's out there pointing, so he's not going to do a fast time. He's trying to instruct the person sitting in his passenger side. Oh, that's right, 44.167 for the driving instructor. 44.167, my apologies. I said it wrong. I was looking at Elias Khan's first run, which was a 52.259. Elias's first run was a 52.259 in the Miata, so we're going to see if he can beat that. Novice on street tires, as Rick Rousseau will be chasing him down in that beautiful 25th anniversary Boxster. Elias Khan with a 48.162, 48.162, and that is his best time so far in the novice group. He is currently running in first position. Rick Rousseau, I can hear his tires as he rounds that corner right by timing and scoring. As we launch Michael Simmons in the M3P electric vehicle. Rick Rousseau is going to cross the finish line with a 39.515, and that is currently not last place for the Super Street class. For those of you that don't know, that Boxer is in a serious outclassed position. But he likes his Boxster, so he's running it anyway. Michael Simmons, again in the electric vehicle, will be next to finish, and he's going to cross the finish line with a top time of day, 37.288, 37.288. Let's hear it for the power, the electric power. Don Wright is out there in his Mr. 2 Spider. Longtime autocrosser. That's a really pretty car, too. Killer Bee colored. Whew. Here's that Cadillac Blackwing. That thing's kind of badass, isn't it? Don Wright crossing that final finish line with 39.402. 39.402. That is his fastest time on his second run and currently good enough for second position in the 4-car class. Matt Griffin out there in that really neat Cadillac Blackwing. Don't know why I have trouble saying that. Very cool car. Very masculine car. As we just launched Bill Kassenbaum in the Atomic Banana Corvette Z06. And that big old Blackwing is going to cross the finish line with a 39.550. 39.550. Oh, no. Bill Kassenbaum was just called off course in the Z06. Perhaps too much power to make a corner that he was looking for. Interesting thing about the Blackwing that just crossed the finish line, it's super heavy, so the fact that it did anything under 40 is pretty impressive. So again, Bill Kassenbaum will be next to finish in the Atomic. Did he cross? We do have a bit of a problem on course, so we've red flagged for now. So those of you that got red flagged, you will get a rerun. Who got red flagged? Let's see. Looks like Jeremiah McClellan. Maybe? I think we've got a car down in the ditch. How did that happen? I looked up and I was like, where's Bill Kassenbaum in the bright yellow Z06? I should be able to see. Do we have anybody with tow vehicles here? We'll get them out. So we're going to be on a brief hold. So if anybody knows any karaoke, we do have a microphone up here. And this is just a reminder that, autocross is a sport and things can happen. So you always want to take precautions, and you always want to understand that there is risk. So make sure your car is insured. And, things happen. And they're going to bring the box truck over and go ahead and get him towed out. Hey, Dan, if you have a minute, come up here. Let's tell some people about your Miata. It's going to be a minute or two, so we'll get some folks telling us about their cars and to kind of fill the dead air space here. I've got Ivan up here. Ivan's 15. What are you going to be driving today, Ivan?
A Miata.
A Miata? What year? Do you know, have you heard, does it have pop-up headlights? Does it have, it's a brand newish one, 16 or newer. I'm up for adoption. Tell your dad. All right, let's have Dan tell us about his car.
Thank you. What is it? It is 2005 Mazda Speed. There are only, I think, 390 made. After that, the factory caught on fire, so they moved to the NC body. So modification, suspension, brakes, tires, stock engine. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty quick. It's a fun car.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, that is a Mazda Speed, and there were not that many of them made because the factory did catch fire. So there's about 300 of them out there, as he said. This car should be quick. He has modified the suspension, and I could tell that because as he's cornering, you notice there's not a lot of roll in it. He has a trailer hitch on the back, which also sometimes helps with that. But most importantly, it just looks really good. I would look spectacular in that car. And those of you that know anything about me, I am a Miata person. I've driven Mazda Miatas on the autocross course. I've also driven spec Miatas on the wheel-to-wheel racetrack. There's a couple of wheel-to-wheelers out here. I don't know, is Anna running with Joel today, or is just Joel running? If you get a chance to talk to Joel in the Volkswagen GTI, his wife Anna races an open-wheel Formula Ford wheel-to-wheel. That's a brave girl. And wheel-to-wheel racing, completely different sport. I can't say that it's more fun than this. It's just equally as fun. Completely different. This, you've got, under a minute of violent driving, so much fun, exhilaration, adrenaline, all those things. Wheel-to-wheel, sometimes you have time to make a sandwich on those back stretches. So completely different. The other difference between autocross and wheel-to-wheel is in autocross, you want to find the shortest way around your course. On wheel-to-wheel, you're taking up as much of the track as you can so that you can carry more speed. So you'll never see wheel-to-wheel cars really hugging in the corners. You'll see them enter late, way out wide, and then tuck in and then exit wide again. So completely different sport. Requires two completely different types of setups, different types of cars. Guys, when people go, oh, you're just an autocrosser, this is much more difficult, much more technical. And autocrossers end up making the best track racers because they're much quicker in the technical parts of the road course races. So keep autocrossing, folks. Bring your friends. Autocross is a great sport. Inexpensive, lots of fun. It's a family that goes across the country. Many of the people that are out here today are national level autocrossers. That means they travel to national events, and even as far as Lincoln, Nebraska for the annual national, there's like 1,300 people competing. That's quite the sight. It's quite a party, and there just happens to be 4 days of racing going on as well. And they'll be getting that Corvette out soon. Just pull him out of the ditch, and hopefully his car's not damaged in any way. Unfortunately, I wasn't looking up to see it happen. I just looked up and realized he wasn't there. And I went, must be down in the ditch. And again, be mindful. Most of us are in cars that we drove here, except for Richard Fickus, of course, in the Caldwell. He certainly couldn't drive that on the streets. But most of us are in cars that we drive here on our own power, so be mindful of that. It's a plastic trophy or something like that. Maybe it's a medal. I'm not sure what you win here, but it's not worth wrecking your car for. So get off the gas if you need to. It's okay. This is all for fun. Most importantly, try not to put your car in the ditch. That's okay. We'll make fun of Bill for the rest of his life for doing this. And I can't say that it hasn't happened to me. Many, many years ago, we had an S2000. Y'all might remember it, a big white S2000. And we let my brother drive it as a novice. And it was well set up. Well, unfortunately, he thought it was well set up for a novice to drive way above his means. And he went rocking at one of our events, and he rocked off to the left and off to the right, and he was tank slapping, and he ended up on two wheels, and the car was kind of still in the air for about 2 seconds, and we weren't sure if it was going to roll over to the right or come down on its wheels. And very fortunately, it came down on its wheels, but it was just enough to tweak the frame. The frame was twisted, and we were never able to get that quite fixed. We sold that car. Just driven by an old lady on Sundays. I'm going to hand you... Shane in here in the timing trailer is driving a Fiesta today. I said, tell us about your Fiesta. And he says, I don't have any Fiesta talk. Come on, Fiesta's light, it's nimble. Have you done any mods to it? Completely stock. Are you running as a novice? H Street. Completely stock. So does it rock around the corners? It does do a little rocking. That's cool. I found old pictures of when I first started autocrossing. My very first race was at Palm Bay up the street. And I was in a Miata that I, paid like $500 for, and it barely ran. And I did nothing to it because I didn't know what autocross was. Well, actually, my first autocross was in a different car. It was in a Mercedes, an automatic Mercedes on grocery getter tires. I had no idea what I was doing. And Bob Poblad was kind enough to show me what autocross actually was. And then Mercedes said, hey, we're going to void your warranty. And I said, gosh, I would never race. And they said, your name's all over the internet. Just stop it. And this $500 Miata fell in my lap, and I found a picture of it the other day going around a corner, and it looks like the whole thing's about to roll over. I had no idea you should probably do something about the suspension and flatten it out. All I did was put stickers on it. It looked really cute. I spray painted the wheels gold, put gold stickers on it, and said, I'm going to be a race car driver. So we all start one way, and we end up another. I ended up twice trophying at the Nationals in cars that did not belong to me. Once in a car that belonged to Bridgestone, and once in a car owned by the Tennessee Mafia, and that was a 370Z. I showed up. None of its graphics showed up for its sponsors, so we were borrowing numbers and letters, and we looked like a ragtag crew, but that car was fast, and I was quite surprised, very surprised when it trophied for me. They got the Corvette out. Yay. Hopefully it's okay. And here's something to think about. I want everybody to kind of pay attention to me for just a moment. Please do not post photos of what just happened. And if you do, don't say that it was at an autocross event. Please don't say that it was here. Sometimes it can make site acquisition difficult for the club. So if you want to take pictures, that's fine, but please don't post, or post privately to only your friends. Don't mention SCCA, autocross, or the site. Very important. Very important. The other thing I might want to mention to you, if you've not ever thought about this, if you have certain cars that are new and under warranty, you might want to make sure that you're registered under just your first name. Maybe not your last name also, because sometimes they void warranties for this type of thing, which I especially don't understand with the high-performance vehicles, because they were built to perform, right? We'd like to thank Caitlin for getting our friend out. Thank you very much. And it looks like he's going under his own speed, so all is good. And we're getting ready to get hot again on the track, so I can't make up more stuff to talk about. Y'all will be thankful for that. Dan Simunescu in that Mazda Speed Miata. Now, Dan is currently sitting on a 38.342, so he's looking to better his time. And, Dan, I know you can do it, so show us what you can do in that Mazda Speed. And here we go. Nice launch. Got good grip coming off the launch. Look how flat he is when he corners. Nice. Nicely done. Nice pivot around that first cone. Kevin Spence is lined up, and he is a long-time autocrosser in that car. I think he's had that car at least 10 years. Here comes my Mazda Speed. Kevin Spence also getting a great launch and a nice pivot around that first cone. Here comes Dan toward the finish line, and he's looking to beat 38.342, and does he do it? Yes. Fastest time, 38.058. Fastest time for him. 38.058 for Dan. That is good enough currently for first position in the XB class. Kevin Spence is in the BMW, sitting on a 39.947 as we launch Paul Volanino. So this is Kevin's second run. And does he better his time? Let's see. 38.797 for Kevin. That is his fastest run, 38.797, and that is good enough for second position in the STU class. Paul Volanino is out there in the Miata. Paul Volanino. And again, he's running as a novice, so he's looking to find the course on his first run. Learn to read those cones. It's a tough thing. It's not always an instantaneous thing to learn, and even experienced autocrossers sometimes miss a cone. And the first rule of autocross, as everybody knows, is look ahead, look ahead, look ahead. You should always be looking about 2 gates ahead. Your hands will follow your eyes. Paul crossing the finish line on his very, very first run as a novice with a 64.776 on course. That's a good thing. So he'll get quicker and quicker each and every run. Meanwhile, Jeremiah McClellan is out there in his BMW 335i as Andy Lester leaves the line in that Mustang. Jeremy was sitting on a 41.028. Let's see if he betters it. Yes, he does. 40.940. 40.940 in the STU. Andy Lester in the Mustang just picked up a cone. So he was sitting on a 42.490, but he's not going to better that with a cone, I promise you that. But here comes Rex Gibson in a really pretty Miata. Nicely set up, I can tell. It's cornering flat as well. Pivoting nicely around that first corner. So Andy Lester slows up with a 42.581 plus a cone. And killing a cone after the finish as well. So make that 2 cones for Andy Lester. So far winning the cone award. But Bill Kassenbaum still winning the embarrassing ride award for the day. Everybody's got their day, you know. Rex Gibson again will be next to finish as we launch John Darnell in the C8 Z51. Here comes Rex running for the finish line, and Rex is going to cross the finish line with a 39.990, and that is his fastest time today, 39.990. Michael Messer is out there in the Mustang GT. This thing has a really nice sound as it takes off the line. He's running in the KMC class. Oh, the Corvette just picks up a cone. That's a lot of weight to push around the course, those Corvettes. Interesting to drive, though, too, I have to say. So John Darnell in the C8 Z51 crossing the finish line with a 40.277, which would have been his fastest time, but he picks up a cone as well. So 40.277 plus 1. Michael Masser out there in the Mustang GT is looking to beat his previous time of a 45.398. And he's doing the final slaloms before hitting that final pivot cone toward the finish line. As William Conave is in an Eclipse. Wow, I haven't seen an Eclipse in a while. Michael Messer crossing the finish line with a 43.045. 43.045. That is his fastest time, although not fast enough to move him up in the class. He's still behind the first place position, and I can't see. Yeah, Andy Lester is currently in first at 42.581, so he's got about a second to lose there. Actually, about half a second. William Conave is out there as a novice, and unfortunately, he just went off course. But that's another car we don't see a lot of, the Eclipses. And he's trying to find his way. Yep, turn right there. Look for those pointer cones to tell you where to go. Straight. Still to the left, to the left. Now swing it right. There we go. Good job. Eric Rudy in the WRX is getting ready to launch. We'll give that novice some time to get off the course, though. WRX has a big old picnic table on the back side of it. So if anybody needs anywhere to eat some lunch today, you can stand up behind that WRX. There's a table there. Hey, here's Gary Meredith, longtime racer. And we'll just use his first name. This is Gary in the Corvette, currently in first position, sitting on a 38.613, getting ready to launch. And here's Eric Rudy, giving everybody a view of the final slalom toward the finish line. And there's that final pivot. Eric crosses the finish line with a 42.969. 42.969. That is his fastest time so far. Currently not good enough to go in first place, though. He's about 3 seconds behind the first place driver. So he's got to pick up some time there. So out on course is Gary in the Corvette. Very pretty Corvette. Very nice. As we get ready to launch a driving instructor run. Again, if you're a novice, you can have a driving instructor show you how it's done. They won't be driving as fast as you might drive, but they'll show you the course. Gary crossing the finish line with a 38.539, plus picks up a cone somewhere along the way. 38.539 plus 1. We have Hunter Volanino. Woo, and the Scion TC squealing its wheels off the line. I'm guessing street tires. Yep, street tires. So the novice is having a driving instructor, and the driving instructor pointed his way around the course and still pulls out a 45.752. So out on course now is Hunter Volanino on his very, very first run as a novice. So he's taking his time, making sure he can see where he's going. And that's fine. Learn how to read those cones. It's like a treasure hunt, you know? If you can figure out how to read the map and read the cones, at the end of it, there could be a medal. What do we do here for trophies? Are they trophies or medals? Or? Unfortunately, Hunter was called off course. Okay, ready? Hunter, it's a big swing wide here, all the way around. It's a big, big round. Yep. Now tuck it tight right here. There we go. Tighter to the cones. He's going way out there. All right. Well, he was called off course, but he finished the course, so that's good. And we just launched Juan Fernandez in his Z06. So, Hunter, you're going to cross with a 73.128 plus off course, but hopefully you figured out where you went off course and you'll be able to catch it on your second run. So, Juan is out there on course in the Z06, and Jerry Bonnet is patiently awaiting the start in his Focus RS. Ooh, that's nicely set up. Look how flat that is around the cones. Ooh, nice pivot. Juan crossed the finish line with a 39.295, his fastest run. That's good enough for second position in the class. 39.295, 0.682 behind the leader. Oh, no. Yes, 0.682 behind the leader. So we have Focus RS and Focus RS out on course. Spencer Wymans is spitting at us a little bit as Jerry Bonnet crosses the finish line with a 38.313. 38.313, not his fastest run, but still first in class on his first run. So Spencer Wyman's out there now in his beautiful blue Focus as Jason Dykstra is getting ready to be launched in his Z06. Now this novice is currently, looks like in fifth position, Spencer Wyman in the Focus. This is his second run. Spencer crosses in the Focus RS with a 44.406. 44.406 plus one cone. So Spencer picks up a cone. So again, Jason Dykstra is out there now in the Z06, and we just launched Dennis Kavanaugh in yet another Focus. Lots of Focuses here today. Jason Dykstra was sitting on a 40.781. Let's see what he does with this run. Jason crosses with a 39.620, so he betters his time. 39.620. Still, from first position, he's more than a second away. So in A-Stock, it's a pretty tight group, lots of cars in it, and he's a second away from the leader. Dennis Kavanaugh out there in the Focus, running as a novice, was just called off course. Definitely look ahead, look ahead, look ahead. You always want to be looking about 2 gates ahead. That's tough to learn, but once you learn it, it's easy. So easy. Nicholas Trabusky in the WRX is out there now. Dennis Kavanaugh was caught off course, but he did cross the finish line with a 49.962, but he was way off course. So he's going to do better on his next run, I'm sure of it. Meanwhile, that WRX is out there. The WRX is currently sitting on a 49.859. And here we're going to launch William Cifuentes in that bright red Mazda Miata. Good looking car. Both the cars out on course right now are novices, so we don't expect them to go real quick. If you can hear me in that 928, very cool car, very cool car. All right, Nicholas Trabusky crossed the finish line with a 52.934, 52.934. So he's going to look to improve that time on his third run. It looks like William Cifuentes, who was sitting on a 54.346, he looks like he's going a bit faster than his last run. So he's doing exactly what he should be doing as a novice, taking it easy, learning to read the cones, but bettering his time with each and every run. All right, so here comes Nicholas. Nicholas is going to cross the finish line with a 52.588, so he did improve his time. 52.588. Nice run, William. So Ron Hawk, also running in the novice class, is out there right now. His first run, he was off course, so he's looking to just see if he can figure out his way around course this time. And right there seems to be where everybody's going off course. Remember, there's another gate that swings way out wide to the right, and he did find it this go-round, so I'm confident he's going to be on course this time in his Civic as we launch that uber cool Porsche 928 front engine driven by John Ferraro. So cool. It's got an antique plate on it. I would have to forego the antique plate for something really cool, some kind of really cool personalized plate. Not something like that. I had a cool car like that. Hey, Ron Hawk in the Civic crossing with his fastest time so far, 66.722, 66.722 on his second run, so I know he's going to get faster. He's found the course now. He figured out where he went off course the first time, so he's going to get faster, faster, faster. Oh, unfortunately, my very cool Porsche was called off course, and it's at that same place, way out there when you're making that left-hander that's out there in the back corner. There's a cone sitting out in the middle where you swing wide. And that's going to be the hard one to find. So find it as you're entering that corner, and it should help you. So John Ferraro crossing with a 54.378, but he was called off course. We've got a driving instructor out there right now kind of pointing and showing folks where the course is as we get ready to launch Connor Zanuski for his third run in that Scat Pack Dodge. And I can hear the Mustang. Whew. That novice on race tires. They could be road race tires. Please put your arm in the car. Arm in the car. Thank you. And the driving instructor crossed with a 46.442 while pointing and explaining. So that's pretty good. And Connor out there looking to find the course. Yep, you're doing good, Connor. Big loop, big loop, big loop, all the way to the right. Now tuck it in tight. These slaloms at the end here look to be pretty tight, but they do seem to be evenly spaced apart, so you can get your car really rocking through there. So Connor was off course on his first run, so this will be his best run once he crosses the finish line, and he's going to cross with a 53.408. So that is his benchmark for himself, a 53.408. He's going to look to better that time with each run. Matt Mullen is out there currently in that Mustang on race tires. His best time so far is a 48.751, 48.751, as Richard Fickus is launched in the Caldwell D13. Matt Mullen crossing the finish line with a 46.120, 46.120. That is his fastest time and good enough for first position currently in the novice race tire division. Timothy James is up here in a WRX. Again, that $150 a month car. Such a bargain. Ooh, here comes the A-bar. I love this little car. All right, let's see what Richard Fickus does. He's going to cross the finish line with a 38.252. 38.252, so he's slowing up just a tick from his fastest run. His fastest run was a 37.948. Can you imagine? 37 seconds, 2 inches off the ground. Oh, Timothy James picking up a cone in the WRX as we launched Alex Froman in the Fiat 500. Timothy James sitting on a 39.396, but he did pick up a cone. So it was faster than his first run, but picking up the cone might have been the quickest way. So clean that one up, Timothy. Clean that up. Oh, no, my Fiat just went off course. My adorable little Fiat. Fun fact, they're only about 4 inches longer than the average golf cart. I recently got to see a really neat car. It was a Fiat 600 from the 1970s that was built as a drag car. The rear wheels almost touched each other. They were so close. Hey, my A-Barth crossing with a 49.946, but was called off course. We have Grand Sport, and we're going to launch another Grand Sport. So Grand Sport and Grand Sport on course. Nicholas Noblet is in the first one that's going to cross the finish line, sitting on a 37.7, and he slows up to a 38.366 plus a cone. So he's not picking up anything there. So my next Grand Sport is driven by Nicholas Noblet. And Nicholas is currently in first position, sitting on a 37.727. So that's a very quick car out there right now. And we just launched Elias Khan, driving as a novice in the Miata. Grand Sport 37.431. That is his fastest time. 37.431. That is Nicholas' fastest time and good enough for first position in this SS class. Rick Rousseau, you got to beat that. He's waving to me. He's like, yeah, I can do it. I know you can. Control that car. Smooth run. And our novice out there looks like he's pretty confident in the course, driving that little gray Miata. Multicolored gray Miata. It's like the Partridge Family bus of Miatas. All right, Elias crossing the finish line with a 48.270. 48.270. So he slows up just a tick from his previous run, but it's still good enough for currently second position in the novice street tire class. So Rick Rousseau out there piloting that 25th anniversary Boxster. That thing has some pretty neat features, I have to say. The best one, though, that I enjoyed was the air-conditioned seats. It was hot. Rick Rousseau crossing the finish line. Did it drop a time in? 38.976. Hold up. It might not. Hold the start, please. There we go. Rick Rousseau, 38.976. 38.976, and that is good enough for second position in that tight super street class. Come on, Rick. You're only a second and a half from the leader. So Rick is following the Grand Sport a second and a half behind. Meanwhile, Michael Simmons crossed. He's still top time of day in that electric vehicle with a 37.315. 37.315 for the electric vehicle. Top time of day and still top packs as well. So John Volanino in the Miata was caught off course again. Wow. Look ahead. Remember to look ahead. Paul Volanino with the raw time of 55.786, but again off course. Meanwhile, Hunter Volanino, I'm assuming they are related, as that is not a Smith sort of last name, is currently out on course in the TC, and he's looking like he found that final gate. Did he find it? That's the one everybody's missing. Oh, he kills a cone out there. I saw it. So Hunter Volanito, I saw that cone. But he stayed on course. He just hit a cone, but he stayed on course. He hit the directional cone. Oh. Hunter with a 62.464 plus 1. 62.464 plus 1. And Don Wright's going to be next to finish in his bright yellow Mr. 2. A spider or a speeder. Don was sitting on a 39.0. 39.063. That's top packs. 39.063 and his fastest time. That is good enough for first position in the XES class. 39.063. So I'm thinking if you're in the sub 40s, you're doing okay today. Matt Griffin out there in the Blackwing Cadillac. He's trying to beat his 39.550. And we just launched Jeremy McClellan in the BMW. Here comes Matt. Matt's crossing the finish line with a 39.810, so he slows up just a tick. Still smack in the middle of the class, that 5-car class. He's in third position in A Street Tire, sitting on a 39.810, but his fastest time so far was a 39.550. Jeremy McClellan is running for home now through these final slaloms. Let's see what he does here. See if he pivots around the final cone. Tuck it in, tuck. Go, 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 go. Woo. 40.543. 40.543. And that is his fastest time today. Kevin Spence is out on course now. And again, Kevin Spence has been racing for years and years and years. So we expect to see a good, strong time out of our next BMW finishing as we launch Dan Simonescu in the Miata. Yep, Kevin Spence with a 37.621, 37.621. And, of course, that's good enough for first position in the STU class, Street Touring Unlimited. Looks like Dan's moving in that little Miata. And we just launched Michael Messer in the Mustang. I mean, that Miata's sharp. It's got some suspension changes to it. It looks good. 37.604. 37.604. Very fast, Dan. Very fast. And that is, of course, good enough for first position in the XB class. Michael Messer picking up a cone out there in that big, heavy Mustang as we launch another gray Mustang. We're going to be doing 4 competition runs this morning. 4 competition runs. So make sure you're aware of that. 4 competition runs. Hey, Michael Messer in the Mustang GT crossing the finish line with a 42.093, but he did pick up a cone. So his raw time was faster, but that cone just took that right away from him. But here comes Andy Lester to the spectator slalom, we're going to call that, because you can see it from the grid. Andy's sitting on a 42.490. Let's see what he does. 42.871. 42.871, so he slows up just a tick, but he's still in first position in the KMC class. Beautiful, beautiful C8 Z51 out on course. Woo, as the driving instructor squeals his wheels in the TC. Ooh, the Z51 tucking it in tight. 40.021, 40.021. And again, we're going to do 4 competition runs this morning. And this message is for Richard Thomas. Can you please bring your wife a bottle of water? But he's got hint water. He's got the good stuff. All right. My driving instructor crossed with a 45.442. 45.442. Rex Gibson is out there right now. What's he driving? Oh, of course, a Miata, of course. The unofficial car of autocross, Mazda Miata. There used to be a commercial that Mazda said, more Miatas driven on race courses around the country than any other car. And believe it or not, that was a true fact. Rex Gibson crossing with a 39.113. 39.113. Eric Rudy picking up a cone in the WRX. As we get ready to launch Gary in his really pretty Z06. Really pretty Z06. Actually, that might be a Z51. I'm not sure. Can't tell. All right, Eric Rudy crossing the finish line with a raw time of 40.823. 40.823, but picking up a cone along the way. Now Gary, a very long time autocrosser and road course racer. Look how smooth. He makes this really super heavy car look like it weighs nothing. Going through the final spectator slalom here. Watch, he's going to tuck it tight around that finish cone. Ready? Floop. Nice. Nicely done, Gary. Gary with a 38.943. That is good enough for first position in the class. 38.943. He has one more run to go. Again, we're going to do 4 competition runs this morning. 4 competition runs. And for those of you that are not aware, at the national level, it's 3 runs. You got to get it done in 3. So it's nice at the local level that we get an extra run here and there. Jerry Bonnet just crossed in the Focus RS with a 37.870. 37870, and that is currently good enough for second position in the heavily competitive STU class. And Juan Fernandez out there in his Z06. He's looking to better his time of a 39.295. He's currently in second position. He needs to lose about 0.6 of a second to take it. Does he do it? 38.511. 38.511. Currently in first position in the A Street class. Oh, no, but he was just called off course. Oh, never mind. Juan Fernandez was not called off course. Juan Fernandez is fine, sitting on his 38.511. Currently in first position in A Street. It was Jason Dykstra that was called off course in the Z06. So Jason Dykstra will be next to finish, and we'll give him a raw time, but he was called off course. Jason crossing with a 52. Who cares what his time was? He was off course. Spencer Wyman is out there in the Focus RS, and again, he's running as a novice. His best time so far is a 46.406. 46.406, but he's lost. He's lost on course. So he was called off course as well. Meanwhile, Dennis Kavanaugh in the Ford Focus ST on race tires. Beautiful, bright red little car. Can't miss that one, said the officer on the highway. Spencer Wyman called off course with a 51 raw time. So Dennis's first run, he just kind of looked around, made sure he knew where the course was. So now if he could just put a little speed into it on the parts that he's confident about, that he can see, he's going to better his previous time of a 74.5, I'm sure of it. And we're going to go ahead and launch Nicholas Trabulski in a WRX Subaru. Dennis dropping a ton of time. Oh, wait. Okay. 49.412 for Dennis Kavanaugh. 49.412 for Dennis Kavanaugh in the Focus ST. Nice job, Dennis. Nicholas Trabulsi is out there in the WRX as we launch Richard Fickus. So Nicholas looking to beat a 49.859. Does he beat his previous time? 46.294. Nice job. 46.294. And that is good enough for first position in the novice street tire class. So Nicholas setting the bar for the novices. And again, novices, if this is your first time as a novice, don't worry about your time. Just learn how to read those cones. Next to finish is going to be Richard in our Caldwell D13 open wheel go-kart on steroids. And Richard is going to cross the finish line with a 38.814. 38.814. Ooh, watermelon hemp water, the greatest thing ever. So out on course is William Cifuentes in what else? A Mazda. And John Ferraro in that cool 928. Nicholas is going to cross the finish line with, oh no, I'm sorry. William is going to cross the finish line with a 49.667. 49.667, and that is his fastest time so far. He's running in the novice class, and he's right in the middle of the pack, so he's doing all right. The 928 called off course. And that's John Ferrero on his third run, called off course. So John Ferraro in the 928 crossing with a raw time in the 57s, but called off course. He's struggling to find the course. And it's right about right where the white car is now, where the Civic is. There's a gate there. Everybody misses. Nick said they're saying they're going to put more cones out, or they have put. They put more cones out to try to make it more visual, but y'all look ahead. Look ahead. There's a cone, a lonely cone sitting out there. So let's see what Ron Hawk does in the Civic. He's looking to beat his previous time at the 66.7. And he does. 56.386. 56.386. So he is doing exactly what a novice should do, and that's better their own time with each and every run. Connor Z is getting ready to be launched in the Scat Pack as we watch Hunter Volanino in the TC running as a novice. He looks like he's going a little faster. Hunter's previous time was a 64.464. Let's see if he can better that. 50.846. 50.846. Great improvement. Putting him smack in the middle of the novice street tire class, so he's doing good. He's beating his own time with each run. That's what you want to do. And listen to Matt Mullen's Mustang as he gets launched. It's a great sound. Sexy sounding Mustang. Very sexy sounding. Connor in the Challenger rounding the final corner. And he's going to cross with his quickest time of the day, 52.574. 52.574 for the novice on race tires. Matt Mullen out there in the Mustang, and we're about to launch Timothy James in a WRX. All right, so let's see who we got. Matt Mullen just crossed the finish line with his fastest time on his third run, which is a 45.895. 45.895, and that is your leader right now in novice race tire class. Timothy James is out there in the WRX, and he is in the STH class as we launch that adorable little Fiat 500 Abarth. WRX crossing the finish line with his fastest time. Nice job, Timothy. 39.507. 39.507, and of course that is your leader in the STH class. The Fiat looks like it's leaning just because it's so tall, but it's really not. It's really cornering fairly flat. So Alex will be next to finish. And he pivots around the final cone, run for the finish, and he crosses with a slightly slower time of 43.257. 43257. Jason Brozowski, we'll call that Jason B, is currently out on course on the Grand Sport, and we're going to follow him with another Grand Sport. So it's twinsies out on course. Now Jason, who's doing our spectator slalom right now, is looking to beat his current time of a 39.414. He's currently in third position, about 2 seconds behind the leader. I moved up to second position with a 38.492. 38.492 for Jason Brzezowski. But Nicholas Noblet is currently in first place, and he's sitting on a really comfortable 37.431. I think that's probably going to be your leader. That is his fourth and final run, so let's see how he does with this one. See if he does a betterment of his time. Does he do it? Oh, heads up, listen to this, 37.225. That is your top time of day in Super Street and first position in class as well. Top time of day, 37.225. That is the bar. That is so fast. So fast in a big old Corvette. And we have the driving instructor out there in that cool 928. And Elias Khan was just launched in the Miata. And the 928, driven by the driving instructor, is going to cross the finish line with a 48.162. No. Wrong time. 48.446. 48.446. Elias Khan will be next to finish, and Rick Rousseau is going to launch. Are you going to launch it, or are you going to let the car launch itself? The car has some neat features, which one of them is launch control, and it literally will launch itself. It will drive itself. It will wipe your butt if you ask it to. It's a great Boxster. Hey, Elias Khan just crossed the finish line with a 45.128, and that is his fastest time today. That puts him in first position in the novice street tire class on his fourth and final run. So for the novice street tire class that are running in this run group, Elias Khan's your leader out there on the Miata. And Rick Rousseau rounding this final curve to go into the spectator slaloms, and he's hugging those slalom cones, pivoting nicely around that final corner, and Rick's going to cross the finish line with a 39.066. He slows up. His fastest time was in the 38s, so it moves him down to third position. So somebody came in ahead of him. So still, quick run with a 39.066. Michael Simmons is out there in the electric vehicle. Now Michael's sitting on a 37.288. So that is very quick, very, very quick. And we have a novice out there also in a red Miata. Michael crossing with a 37.497. 37.497. That is 0.086 seconds from the leader in the EV class. 0.08. That's like a breath. So Paul Volanito's out there right now in the Miata. And we just launched Don Wright. My novice just crossed the finish line with a 53.771, and that is his fastest time so far. He still has one more run to go, though, so he can even better that. So I challenge you, Paul Volanito, to something in the 51s. How about that? Let's try to drop a couple seconds. Meanwhile, Don Wright rocking through those the final slaloms to the final pivot cone. Let's see what he does here. Don Wright with a 39.0 39.605, still top packs time of the day. First in class for the XES class on a 39.605. Now that Goldwing is out there. The Goldwing is just beautiful. You could fit like your entire family. You could valet park it. Just a cool Cadillac. He's sitting on a 39.55. And he slows up just a tick to 40.063. 40.063 on his fourth and final run. That is good enough for currently third position in the A Street class. Jeremy McClellan is out there in the BMW. Again, a longtime autocrosser, currently in third position, sitting on a 40.543. He's a couple seconds behind the leader, so he has a lot of time to make up. Let's see if he can do it. Does he do it? 40.495, that's his fastest time, but still not good enough to catch any leaders. He finishes third in class, 40.495. Hunter Valenino is out there again in that TC. Now he is again running as a novice. This is his fourth and final run, and he's looking to better his time. His time last run was a 50.846. So let's see what he does here through the slaloms. Tuck it in tight. And through the final pivot cone. And Hunter with his quickest time to date, 49.771. 49.771 for Hunter and that beautiful little red Miata. Oh no, he's in a TC, I'm sorry. Wrong novice. My apologies. But Dan just crossed in front of us here, and he is in a Miata, that beautiful Mazda Speed Miata. Dan is currently in first position, sitting on a 37.604. He slows up to a 38.123, but he is still our first place competitor in the XB class on his fourth and final run, crossing with a 38.123. Kevin Spence is out there in his BMW. This is his fourth and final run. He's sitting currently in first position. His quick time of day is 37.621. He's looking really confident through that slalom. Final pivot, 38.042. So he slows up just a little bit, 38.042. Still in first position in the STU class. Now we're going to have a couple of Cam C class Mustangs run. The first one will be driven by Andrew Masser. He's out there coming through the spectator slaloms now. And then Andy Lester was just launched. Michael Masser is currently sitting on a 43.045 in second position. 40.706. That moves him up to the first position in his fourth and final run, but right on his tail was your previous first position holder. He has to beat the last time in, which was a 40.706, driven by Michael Messer. Let's see if Andy Lester can do it. Come on, Andy, hug those slalom cones. Tight, 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 tight. Tuck it in and go. No, he doesn't do it. 41.235, and while that's his fastest time today, he's still behind the leader. So Michael Masser will be your winner in Cam C, followed by Andy Lester. We have Paul Volanino out there in the Miata. Yeah, see, I've got many Volaninos here. There's one in a TC, a couple of them in Miata. Welcome to the Volanino family. We're glad you're here. And Paul crossing the finish line with a 50.461, and that is his fastest time today on his fourth and final run. 50.461. Here's that shiny Corvette just went off course. Bummer. His fastest raw time is a 40.021. And he slows up, of course, because he went off course and got lost and went, oh, never mind. Threw his hands in the air and just brought it in home. Meanwhile, Rex Gibson is out there currently in the XB class in his car. What's he driving? A Miata. Rex Gibson in the Miata, currently in second position on a 39.113 as he was getting ready to round the big bend in front of the spectator slaloms. He's a fast in. Ooh, he's running it almost like a road course. Let's see if that's good for him. Woo! Rex with a 39.480, so he slows up just a tick. Eric Ruby is out there. The STX is, the STH class WRX picked up a cone. So that's not going to help him any. He's currently in second position and stays in second position, but his raw time was a 40.554, which was his fastest time, but he picks up a cone. Gary running his Z06, currently in second position, sitting on a 38.613 in the A Street class. Let's see, he's pivoting around the final cone now. Go, 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 Gary. Gary, his fastest run, moves him into first position, 38.509. 38.509. Fourth and final run, currently in first position in the A Street class. So out on course is Jerry Bonnet in that beautiful Focus RS. Whew. If you watch, he goes up on three wheels sometimes. Jerry's sitting on a 37.870. Let's see if he can improve. 37.861. Slows up just a tick, so he's going to finish his day in second position for the STU class. Meanwhile, Juan Fernandez in the Z06 is currently in second position in a 38.511. He needs to improve his time by 0.002 seconds. That's not even a breath. That's like an eyelash. So this is a tight race here. Gary currently in first position on a 38.509. Does he do it? Haha, he did. He knocks Gary off with a 38.416. 38.416. There is your winner in the A Street class, Juan Fernandez, followed by Gary Meredith. I think all my A stock people have run. They have not? Ah, nope. No, I think that's it. So Jason Dykstra right now on the spectator slaloms. He's trying to beat his own time of a 39.620. 39.517. 39.517. It moves him to the third position in the class on his fourth and final run. 39.517. Spencer Wyman. Woo! He's currently in third position in the novice class. He is sitting on a 46.406. He needs about 0.112 to move forward. Oh, but he picks up a cone. So his raw time was a 42.494 plus one cone. 42.494 plus one cone for Spencer Wyman. Still in first place in the novice street tire class. So here comes Dennis Kavanaugh, rounding the final right-hand turn before the spectator slaloms. He's in a Focus ST, currently in second position in the novice race tire group, sitting on a 49.412. He would need to pick up like 3.5 seconds, so I think unless some miracle happens, he's probably not going to. Let's see. Oh. He went off course. Dennis, off course. 45.878. 45.878 off course. Wah, wah. So here comes Nicholas Trabulsi in the WRX. Currently in third position in the novice group, sitting on a 46.294. Needs to improve about a second, 1.1 seconds to move ahead. Does he do it? 43.851 is his fastest time, and that does move him into first position in the novice street tire group. 43.851 is the novice bar to beat currently. We have a driving instructor out there with one of the Volanino gang, I think.
Is the Corvette okay?
All right, and our driving instructor crossing with a 48.448. And Inquiring Minds wanted to know if the Corvette is okay, and it is. So that's a good thing. Good thing. And again, a reminder, please don't post those pictures. Don't mention Autocross, SCCA, or the site name. Help us out a little. Help us keep this site. It's a great site. They have real bathrooms, which is important to the ladies of the Autocross community. Real bathrooms, always good. And it's a nice open lot. I kind of dig this place. All we need is a hot dog vendor, and it would be paradise, right? So my 928 is going to cross with a 54.669. Off course again, having trouble seeing the course. That's one of the hardest things as a novice, is just learning how to read the course. So my Eclipse is out there, and he's looking a little lost, but he's finding his way. Now keep going. Yeah, he sees that cone now. Good, good, good. And he's going to come down here. Stay on course, stay on course. Good job, good job. Now a big sweeper. Yep, yep, catch that one. Yep, to the right, to the right. There we go. Straight ahead. To the left. Now pull it in tight. There we go. So our novice in the Eclipse looks like he's going to finish on course this go round. Very exciting. He's rounding the final corner. Yay, William Conavey on course. Now it was a 71, but he's found his way finally. So, and he's got a couple runs left, so I think he's going to have a faster run anyway, where he'll stay on course next go round. Meanwhile, Ronald Hawk is out there also running as a novice in the Civic, currently sitting on a 56.386, 56.386. So again, novice, learning how to read those cones. Tuck it in tight. And my Scat Pack. I recognize the sound of it as it left the line. Ronald Hawk making the final pivot turn before the finish. He's going to cross the finish line with a 51.031. That is his fastest time, 51.034, and he was on course. Way to go. Connor Z out there in the Dodge. Currently in third position, sitting on a 52.574. Round the big sweeper here at the end. And now tuck it in tight. There we go. Slaloms are an interesting thing. Novices, if you're doing a slalom, you actually get your car moving and you turn before the wheel hits where the cone is, because your car will continue going straight for just a split second before it actually adjusts. Connor doing his fastest run of the day with a 50.574. 50.574. I think that was his, we might need to find out how many runs Connor has done. Novice instructor picking up a cone. Why for you do that? Woo, Matt Mullen, that growling Mustang. The instructor's finished with a 41.7 and a cone. Wah, wah. No excuse for an instructor to pick up a cone. We've all done it. We've all lost complete control of a car. Most of us, well, I don't know. I always laugh when that happens. I just laugh. That's all I can do. Some people might be cursing, but to me it's like, okay, so I spun a car. I think Angela, the question in here from Ivan was, what is the most number of cones that have been knocked over? And I think Angela may be our cone head award. And there was a race, she knocked over, how many was it? 7? No? Matt Mullen just crossed the finish line with a 45.469. 45.469. And I just learned that a great friend of ours, Allison Hill, who's out of Georgia, at the Nationals, hit 13 cones. 13 cones. She was in a car she had never driven. And I know Allison well enough to know that she was not a laugher. She was probably dropping F-bombs. Oh, she was laughing? Yeah, beer helps. She offered the owner of the car beer. Oh, offered the... It was a Roger Johnson course, and the workers were offered beer. Hey, William Cifuentes just crossed the finish line with a 46.648. 47.648, I apologize, 47.648. That is smack in the middle of the novice class. It is now potty break time. So, if you're a worker, it is time to go potty and then get in your cars. It's time for me to change my shoes and get in my car. My name's Patsy, and I'm glad to be out here with you today. I'll be turning over the microphone, so you're welcome. Again, a big thank you to Nick and Caitlin for doing all they do to make this club successful. We appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
Amazing. I know. 2 workers, heat 2 workers, come on up.
What did that say, Tane? What did that say? I'm trying to get that display. I hope it would be on video, right? Oh, maybe off? Right here? No? Exit. So okay. Let me see. Did I get him? Again? Okay. Oh, we're in the same place. Okay, so let me... This one, what did it say? Total, right? So maybe in there. Oh, okay, so that's not it. What this... Oh, shit. Yeah. Yeah. So it's in play... No, it's not in playback, it's in... Damn, I may have to hit the wrong other button. Damn. Set it.
All right, everybody. So I know everyone's working as fast as they can, but again, we got some cars loading up in grid. We've got some people checking in for work. So, you know, grab your stuff and we'll get rolling as soon as we can. So again, if you just ran... If you are, so if you just ran, that means it's your turn to work. So come on up and check in over here by the trailer. I know it's a bit of a walk, but come on over. We'll get everybody checked in. And if you just worked, it's your turn to run. So go ahead and grab your car, grab your stuff, head over into grid. Starting to fill up. Remember, the first 2 rows are for 2-driver cars.
Okay. Look at my car now so we'll be able to see. Okay. All right.
Hello, hello, hello. You are going to hear your name called because you are on my naughty list. I need you to come over to the timing trailer, please, to check in for your work assignment. Matthew Mullen, Nicholas Nicholas T, my apologies, Connor Z, Spencer Wyman. Okay, so I have Matthew Mullen, Nicholas T, Connor Z, and Spencer Wyman. Please head over to the back of the timing trailer. That way I can get you out on course to your proper position. Thank you so much.
All right, course is going hot. We're sending one car, 154. Caitlin Dunlap's going to be the crash test dummy. Looks like she's got a good run going. Let's see what she can do here in the STU X class. Looking for a little grip. Looking fast though. Finishing up with a 38.6. 38.6 for Caitlin's first run. That's great. Next up, we have a C Street Miata, 198 C Street Miata, driven by Hugo. Hugo looking really smooth out there. C Street Miata. Hugo finishing with a 39.2. Great run for Hugo. Currently first place in C Street. Jerry Stein finished with a 38.8. Great run for Jerry in his D Street RS, Focus RS. Alejandro Rivera out in his Civic SI, and an STX Civic, and he finishes with a 41.026. Great run. And of course, we got Rachel McLaughlin in the ladies class SMF Corolla SE. Electric blue Corolla, nice looking car. Rachel in with a 54.7. Great run, Rachel. On course, we've got Lewis Lockshine in a Camaro LT FS class. Gran Turismo Maserati just took off. Sounding really good. Lewis in with a 43.5. 43.5 for Lewis in F class. One of two in position right now. Looks like two drivers in that class today. Maserati out on course, driven by Patsy Thomas in F Street, Lady F Street. Beautiful car. Ferrari drive or power plant in that car, if I'm not mistaken. And Patsy in with a 46.5. Nice run. Midas Monte and the novice Miata. Ryan Connor in a G Street SC300 taking off here. Let's see what Matthias does here. And Matthias in with a 52.3. Good run. Novice class, first in novice class as it stands. .113 GS Connor got called off course, unfortunately, but still got a good-looking run going here. He's looking smooth.
Nick, DNF for off course? Says off.
Daniel Nelson off in his RX-7. STS class. He finishes with a 42.2. Good run. And an ND2 Miata out on course, STR class. Brian Basalo. Bruce Van Hoosen in the Civic Sport in H class. H Street taking off. And Brian in that Miata with a 41.4. Fast run. Ronald in his H Street Sonic taking off. You see what Bruce finishes here with. Bruce Van Hoosen in with his Civic Sport with a 46.4. Currently first place in H Street. Giancarlo out with his Abrith 500 in H Street. Ronald coming into the finish line in his Sonic. H Street 45.9 for him. That's a great run. Caitlin Dunlap lining up. Giancarlo in his Abrith looking smooth through this last slalom. Giancarlo's in with a 44.3. Great run. Caitlin Dunlap looking fast and smooth. X-Class STU Corvette. Co-driving with her husband Nick. Coming to the finish line. Ooh, 37.555 for Caitlin. Great run. Nick's got his work cut out for him. Andy Rhodes out on the course in his Camaro SS1LE. Ron Williams taking off in his BRZ STX class. Let's see what Andy's got with his F Street Camaro. 40.2 for Andy. First place in F Street right now. Nathaniel DeForest in a S4 Novice Street taking off here. Ron Williams finishing up. Ron Williams in with a 40.889. That currently puts Ron in first place in STX class. Oh, and unfortunately Nathaniel picks up a cone on that run. Ryan Duploy. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I apologize if I didn't. And a M235 X-Drive BMW out on course. All-wheel drive BMW in a novice class. Ivan Yuk out on course in a C Street Miata. Angela online with her Mandalore Civic Type R. Great looking car. Just takes off hard. Lady DS class. Ivan finishing up in his Miata on C Street. Ivan in with a 56.8. 56.8. He's currently in second place in C Street. Angela in the big sweeper into the last slalom here. Justin Gomez taking off in a Supra, B Street Supra. Angela across the line of 40.4. First place in ladies D Street. Great job. First run too. She's going to find some time. Justin in his B Street Supra out there. Dylan Bianco, East Street Miata, takes off. While Justin Gomez finishes up in his Supra. Rounding the corner, crossing the line with a 46.3. 46.3, first place in B Street. Unfortunately, Dylan in his East Street Miata picks up a cone. A 40.2, but +1 for Dylan. Cordova Valencia in a Miata, novice Miata out on course. Joel Colby taking off in his G Street Golf GTI. Quick start for him. Cordova Valencia crosses with a 43.7. I'm sorry, 53.7. 53.7. Joel in the GTI is unfortunately off course. It can be very confusing out there in the sea of cones. Finishing up the last slalom, last right turn. Joel's coming in with a 52.4, but off course. On course is Nick Dunlap, his X-Class STU Corvette. His first run of the day. And Steve Lowe taking off in his Mustang GT. Sounds great. Novice class Mustang GT. Nick Dunlap finishing up with a 37.431. 37.431 for Nick. Super fast. I think I still got him though. Steve Lowe out on course in that Mustang. The car really does sound good. Lost her in, taking off hard. Steve Lowe finishing up in that Mustang GT. comes across the line with a 49.5, but off course. Mark Cunningham in his Veloster out on course. D Street Veloster. On the line we got Shane Oren taking off in his Fiesta ST. Sounds like there might be a little boost in that car. H Street Fiesta. Mark finishes in that Veloster with a 45.2. Good run. D Street's tough. He is second out of second right now. I know he can find some time though. Brad Rinson on the line in the MR2 E Street. While Shane is still on course in his Fiesta, finishing up the last slalom. Coming into the last right turn. On the throttle. 43.8 for Shane. 43.8. Currently first place in H Street. Nice run. Brad Rinson out on course in that MR2. And Eric Orr in his E Street Miata taking off. Brad crosses the line with a 42.4, but unfortunately off course for him. Well, Eric Orr is out on course in his E Street Miata. Robert Kaxer in a Civic FSP class. I'd say that's highly modded Civic there. Let's see what he can do with it. Eric Orr crossing with a 40.9. Great work. First place in E Street. Nice work, Eric. Robert in that modded Civic. F Street prepared. Into the last slalom, looking fast. Robert crosses with a 41.7. 41.7. Patrick Small in his Eclipse is out on course. H Street Eclipse. Unfortunately, Patrick in the Eclipse gets called off course. Ryan Duplou in that all-wheel drive BMW novice takes off pretty hard. Patrick Small in the Eclipse comes across with a 57.2, but off course for him. Hugo Yuck in a MX-5 Miata, C Street Miata. BMW finishing up with a 45.9. Wow, that put him in first place in novice, first place. Great run, 45.9 for him. Hugo looking quick in that C Street Miata. Through the big sweeper, right-hand turn, last slalom. Jerry Stein takes off on that Focus RS. Hugo in with a 38.3, first place in C Street, 38.3. We got a battle in C Street going. Jerry Stein looking smooth as always. He's currently first place in D Street. See if he can improve on his time. His best time so far is a 38.8. Last right turn for Jerry, and he comes in with a 38.3. 38.3, so he does better his time. Extends his lead in D Street. And Nick Dunlap's out on course now. Nick's already in with a 37.4, really quick. Alejandro Rivera takes off in his Civic Si. Nick in. Top packs, top time of the day. 37.173 for Nick. Top packs and top time of the day. Way to go, Nick. Alejandro in that Civic Si, looking good. Angela out there in that Mandalore Type R, ladies D Street. Alejandro in his Civic, 40.336. STX class, he is sitting in first position in STX. That's what I have. Angela finished up with a 39.6. She is currently first place in ladies D Street. Rachel McLaughlin, ladies SMF class, in her Corolla SE, is out on course. Love that color. It's a beautiful car. Camaro LT takes off, driven by Louis Lockshine, F Street Camaro. And Patsy's lining up in her Maserati here. Rachel in with a 46.5 for Rachel. Red Camaro into the final slalom. Let's see what Lewis can do here. He's currently second place. 40.6 for Lewis. That was his best time of the day. Patsy out on course in that Maserati. Okay. Oh, Patsy in with that Maserati with a 45.4 for Patsy. Great run. She's sitting second place in ladies FS class. Ryan Connor out there with that SC 300 G Street. And he is in with a 42.6 for him. First place, he's sitting in first place in G Street still. Daniel Nelson in that RX-7 STS class. And Melissa Allen takes off in that Supra. Daniel Nelson finishing up in that RX-7, the 42.4. Oh, they got a cone there at the end. Picked up a cone right at the end. 42.4, but +1. Melissa Allen had a DNS, so she was off course on her first run. We'll see what she can do here in that Supra. Brian Basallo on the line is Miata ND2 STR class. Melissa Allen into the final slalom in that Supra. She's currently sitting 6th in novice. See what she can do. She picks up a couple spots. Fifth in novice with a 63.9. Way to go, Melissa. Brian in that Miata. Big right turn sweeper looking smooth. Looks good through the slalom. A 40.1. Picks up some time there for himself in the STR class. That was his second run of the day. Matthias out there in that MX-5 in his novice street. A little sideways there, a little too much send. Looks good through that slalom though. Last right turn into the finish. And he's in with a 49.7. He's sitting second out of 7 in that novice class. Second out of 7. You got a battle in novice class going on. Bruce Van Hoosen out on course in that H Street Civic Sport, looking as smooth as ever. He's a very smooth driver. He's currently 4th place in H Street. Let's see if he can find some time here. Oh, big jump. Jumped 3 places to first place. 42.4 for Bruce. 42.4, leading the pack in H Street. Way to go, Bruce. That was his second run. Ronald out there in that Sonic. H Street. A big battle going on in H Street today. Ronald in with a Sonic with a 43, second place in H Street. No, that's a great run. Picks up 2 spots. Nice job. Giancarlo out there in that Aberth 500. He's currently 4th place in H Street. His best run is so far is a 44.3. See if he can find some time. Knock Bruce off number 1 spot. We'll see what happens here. Giancarlo in with a 43, so he knocks Ronald off, so he picks up the 2nd spot in H Street. Andy Rhodes out there in that Camaro SS 1LE F Street, currently 1st. His best time so far is a 40.2. And he does better. He's in with a 39.4. 39.4 for Andy. 1st place in F Street. Ivan Yuck out in his Miata. C Street Miata. He's currently sitting in 2nd place in C Street. His best time so far is a 56.8. See if he can better that. Ron Williams takes off in that BRZ and STX class. Ivan crosses the finish line here. Let's see what he does. 49.2. 49.2. 2nd place in C Street. Ronald is currently sitting 2nd place in STX class with a 40.8. We'll see if he can find some time while Justin Gomez takes off in that Supra. B Street Supra. Beautiful car. Ron in with a 39.089. Picked up a spot, 1st place STX. Nice job, Ronald. And Justin in that Supra. Looking smooth. Cordova Valencia takes off in that Miata. Novice Miata. Currently sitting 3rd in novice class. And Justin in with that Super with a 45. He's currently 1st place in B Street. Oh, but he picked up an off course. Late call on the off course, but it came in. Justin was off course in the Supra. Cordova finishing up in the Miata here. Currently 3rd place in novice. Dylan Bianco on the line and his Miata. And Cordova finishes with a 52.5, still third place. Didn't improve on his time, unfortunately. And Dylan in that E Street Miata into the last slalom, last right turn into the finish line. Picks up a spot, 39.666. First place in E Street. Dylan just stole E Street, first place, with his second run. And Joel Colby out in that GTI. Got to off course that first run. This is see what he can do with his second run here. Looks like he's got it figured out now in that G Street Golf. Steve Lowe in that Mustang GT takes off. And Joel finishes in that GTI with a 45.2. 45.2, good run. Steve Lowe in the Mustang novice class, currently sitting 6th. He was off course on his first run. Nathaniel DeForest in a S4, Audi S4 takes off. In novice class, he's currently sitting 4th. And Steve in the Mustang is finishing up. Steve finishes with a 50.8, third place. Picks up 3 spots. Nice work. 50.8, solid run for Steve. Nathaniel in that S4. Threw the big right-hand sweeper into the slalom. Mark Kunanen takes off in that Veloster in D Street, currently in second place. Nathaniel in the S4 finishes with a 44.3, picks up 4 spots. 4 spots. Currently sitting first place in novice. Way to go, Nathaniel. That's a huge improvement. Mark out with that Veloster. Veloster in D Street, currently sitting second place. He finishes with a 45.1, not his fastest time, but still sitting second place in D Street. And Shane Oren in his Fiesta out on course right now. H Street Fiesta, driven by Shane. All-wheel drive BMW takes off. Rian Dupuy is currently sitting second place in novice. And Shane ends up with that Fiesta with a 43.7, so no help for him in H Street. Brad Renson takes off in that E Street MR2. Rianne finishing up in that BMW. 46.2, no help for him. He's still second place, though. Second place in novice. And a few class battles going on today. It's really, really cool to see. Eric Orr takes off in his Miata, E Street Miata. We got a Civic warming up the tires over here before the start. Brad Renson finishes with a 41.7, currently third place in E Street. Eric Orr in that Miata. His best time so far is a 40.9. He's currently second place in E Street. Let's see if Eric can improve. .39.8. No improvement for him, but he's still got 2 runs to go. And Robert in that F Street prepared Civic. And Patrick Small in his Eclipse on the line. Squealing tires, taking off hard. Robert's coming into the last turn here. Crosses the finish line. Let's see what Robert can do. 42.2. 42.2 for Robert. First place in FSP. 1 of 1. Patrick Small in that Eclipse. He's currently sitting in 5th place in 8th Street. He was off course on his first run. This looks to be much improvement. Melissa Allen taking off in her Supra. She's currently 6th place in Novice. Patrick in with a 49.053. Currently 5th in 8th Street, but certainly getting better. Melissa Allen in the Supra. Let's see if she can improve on her 63.9 from her first run. Alejandra Rivera takes off in a Civic Si STX class. Melissa finishing up here. Melissa in with a 56.2. 56.2 for Melissa. Quite the improvement. She is sitting 6th of 7th in Novice. Big improvement. Angela taking off in that Mandalore Type R. And Alejandra finishing up. Alejandra finishing up with a 39.8. 39.8. Angela looking really smooth out there on this run. I think she's sending it. And Matthias Matanti, I hope I'm saying that right. Matthias takes off in his MX-5, while Angela crosses the line with a 38.6. 38.6 for Angela. First place in Ladies D Street. Caitlin Dunlap's on the line here. See if she can get Nick in his fastest time of the day. Matthias in with a 38.2. 38.2. First place in Novice. Picked up 2 spots. That's a good run. Caitlin Dunlap takes off in her STU X-Class Corvette. Looking to improve on a 37.555. I think Nick's got some heat in the tires for her now, though, so she'll probably do well. Jerry Stein on the line in his Focus RS. Car sounds amazing. Takes off hard. Caitlin into the last turn. Let's see what she does. Oh, Caitlin Dunlap with a 36.8. And everybody just dies. Top time of the day and top packs for Caitlin. Nobody's touching that. 36.8 for Caitlin. Wow, great run. Jerry Stein's out in his Focus RS. Into the last turn with Jerry. Jerry in with a 38.3. 38.3. First place in D Street for Jerry. Lewis Lockshine's out in that Camaro LT. I got to go back to Caitlin for a second. Man, she just killed a lap. 36.8 for Caitlin. I can't get over it. That's really, really fast. Patsy Thomas taking off in that Maserati. That car sounds amazing. So Lewis in with that Camaro with a 40.2. Still second place in F Street. And Patsy Thomas out in that Maserati. Is currently sitting second place in Ladies F Street. Her fastest time so far has been a 45.4. Let's see if she can do better. Improve on that time. Ryan Connor off in that SC 300. He's currently first place in G Street. Oh, and Patsy does. 45.134. Sitting second place in Ladies F Street. She picked up 5 seconds on that run. 5 seconds. That's a great run. Rachel McLaughlin taking off in that Corolla. Ryan Connors is finishing up in his SC 300, 42.0. First place in G Street. Not his best run of the day, but still first place in G Street. And Rachel's out there in that Corolla SE. Her currently fastest time of the day is 46.5. Let's see if she can improve on that. Ronald taking off in his Sonic, H Street Sonic. He's currently third place. And Rachel picks up some time. She's in with a 44.9. Still third place in the SMF, Ladies FMS class. A lot better run though. She picked up a second and a half. Daniel Nelson in that RX-7 takes off. Oh, and Ronald in the Sonic comes in with a 43.9. 43.9 picks up a spot. Third place in H Street. Third place. Daniel Nelson in that RX-7 out on course. And in with a 41.3 for Daniel. 41.3. One of one in STS class. Brian Basalo in that Miata, ND2 Miata. Got an instructor run going out for a novice. Brian in with a 40.6. 40.6 for Brian, sitting first place. One of one in STR class. Got an instructor run going down in the Miata right now. While Bruce Van Hoosen's on the line in his Civic Sport, currently first place in H Street. And unfortunately, Bruce picks up a cone in his Civic Sport. Was that a start? Yeah. Oh man. Bruce Van Hoosen finishing up here in the last slalom. And Giancarlo takes off in his Aberth 500. He's currently second place in H Street. Bruce Van Hoosen in with a 42.1 but plus one. 42.1 but plus one cone. He's still first place in H Street. Giancarlo out in that Aberth. His best time so far is a 43.4. We'll see if he can find some time here. It's on his third run. Oh, he just took first place in H Street. Yeah, way to go, Giancarlo. He's in with a 41.9 and takes that first place spot in H Street away from Bruce. We definitely have a battle in H Street going on. Andy Rhodes in that Camaro F Street Camaro out. He's currently sitting first place with a 39.4. See if he can improve. And he crosses with a 39.4. 39.4. Still first place, though. Ron Williams is out in that BRZ. His current time, best time, is a 39.0. Justin Gomez takes off in his Supra. B Street Supra. He's currently sitting first place. Ron Williams finishing up in that BRZ. Ron in with a 38.6. 38.6 for Ron. Still first place in STX. Justin Gomez in that Supra. Looking quick. Dylan Bianco takes off in his E Street Miata. He's currently first place in E Street. Now Justin finishing up in that Supra, and Justin finishes with a 43.3. 43.3 for Justin. Still first place in B Street. 1 of 1. Well, Dylan Bianco is out in his Miata, currently first place in E Street. His currently best time is a 39.6. See if he can find some time. 39.648. 39.648. Currently first place in E Street for Dylan. Joel Colby is out in his GTI. He's currently second place in G Street. Best time so far has been a 45.2. Nick takes off chasing Caitlin. Let's see if he can catch her. It's a heck of a time she threw down. And Joel in the GTI with a 45.1. 45.1. Currently second place in G Street. Second place. And Nick's pushing that Corvette pretty hard. Ivan Yuck out in his Miata. Currently second place in C Street. Nick should be finishing up here. Oh, he got her. 36.5. 36.5 for Nick. Top time of the day and top packs. Way to go, Nick. Caitlin might have something to say about that, though. Ivan out there in his Miata, currently second place in C Street. Currently his best time's a 49.2. 49.2 for Ivan. See if he can find some time. Steve Lowe takes off in that Mustang GT in Novice Street. Ivan finishing up in that Miata in C Street. And he was called off course, unfortunately, with a 46.6, but called off course. Steve Lowe in that Mustang GT. He's currently fourth place in Novice. See if he can improve on that. He's currently at 50.8. That's his fastest time of the day. Nathaniel DeForest takes off in that S4. He's currently sitting in second place in Novice, while Steve Lowe finishes up in that Mustang GT in the Novice class. Steve Lowe crosses with a 50.6. 50.6. So fourth place. He's sitting fourth in Novice. Nathaniel DeForest is currently sitting second in Novice. He's out on course now. His best time so far has been a 44.3. See if he can find some time while Mark Kinnanen takes off in that Veloster N. Nathaniel DeForest in with that S4 with a 44.5, but plus one. Found a cone on that run. Veloster in the D Street, driven by Marks, out on course now. Shane Oren takes off in that Fiesta ST. He's in H Street, currently sitting fourth place. Marks finishing up in his Veloster, currently sitting second place in D Street. He finishes with a 44.1. 44.1. Still second place in D Street. Shane with his H Street Fiesta currently sitting fourth. His best time's been a 43.7. Missed a car. Missed a car. Oh. Brad Rinson on the line. And Shane Ornan with a 42.3 for Shane, but off course, unfortunately. Still sitting fourth place in H Street, though. Got an instructor run going. The instructor run crosses the line with a 45, but doesn't matter. Brad Rinson out in that MR2, currently sitting third place in E Street with a 41.7. See if Brad can find some time and move up a spot or two here in E Street. Eric Orr in E Street, currently sitting second place, takes off. And Brad Rinson crosses with a 40.331, so no help for him. Still sitting third place in E Street. Patrick Small on the line as Eclipse. H Street Eclipse takes off. Eric Orr's into the last slalom. Looking fast. Last right turn. Finish line for Eric. 39.6, but +1. Unfortunately, Eric found a cone. Patrick Small in that Eclipse out there. He's currently sitting fifth place in H Street with a 49.0. Hopefully he can find some time and better his position in H Street. And Cordova Valencia takes off the line in his Miata, novice class Miata. City's currently sitting fifth place. Patrick Small in his Eclipse crosses the finish line. Patrick in with a 48.7 for Patrick. Still fifth in H Street. And Cordova Valencia in the Miata, currently sitting fifth place in novice in his Miata. His best time so far has been a 52.5. 52.5 looks faster to me, but what do I know? Melissa Allen takes off in her Supra. Novice, she's currently sitting sixth. Yep. Cordova picks up a spot he's in with a 50.522. Picks up one spot. From that run, from his first run to that run, he picked up 12 seconds. 12 seconds. That's what we like to see. Vast improvement. Melissa Allen with that Supra. And Robert out there in the Civic with the FSP Civic out there, currently sitting first place in FSP. And Melissa in with a 54.7, but off course. She's currently sitting sixth place in the novice. And Robert in that Civic out there with the FSP Civic, currently sitting first place. He's fastest time so far has been a 41.7. See if he can find some time. Alejandro Rivera takes off in his Civic SI and an STX class, currently sitting second place. And Robert in with that Civic with a 41.8. 41.8 for Robert. One of one in the FSP class. Alejandro with his Civic SI, currently second place in STX. See if he can improve on that. There goes the Mandalore Type R, Civic Type R, driven by Angela, a Lady DS class. She's currently first place with a 38.6. And Alejandro comes across with a 39.9. 39.9 for Alejandro. Second place in STX. That was his fourth run. Angela's out on course with her Civic Type R. looking fast and smooth. She's on her 4th run as well. Patsy takes off in that Maserati on her 4th run. Angelin with +1, 38.7, but picked up a cone on that one, unfortunately. Patsy out with that Maserati. It's a beautiful car. She's currently 2nd place in ladies F Street. And Lewis Lockshine off in his Camaro LT, currently sitting 2nd place in FS. Patsy into that last right turn, comes to the finish line. What's Patsy do? 44.7 for Patsy. She picked up 5 seconds from her first run to this run. 5 seconds. Continuous improvement. Way to go. She's 2nd place in ladies F Street. Lewis Lockshine into the last slalom here. Hugo out on course. Lewis in with a 39.2, picks up a spot. Takes the lead in FS. Way to go, Lewis. Took the lead. FS class winner. Caitlin Dunlap out. See if she can knock off her husband there in top time of the day. We'll see if she can do it. While Hugo finishes with that Miata in 1st place. Top packs for Hugo. Wow, nice job. C Street, 37.3. Top packs of the day. What a great run, Hugo. We're holding start for some reason. Caitlin's going to finish up though. Caitlin in with a 36.5 for Caitlin. Top time of the day and top packs. Way to go, Caitlin. She's currently 1st place in X class. Jerry Stein on the line, takes off in that Focus RS. Jerry's currently 1st place in D Street. 1st place in D Street with a 38.3. And Jerry Stein looking smooth. His Focus RS. See if he can find some time out there. Bruce Van Hoosen takes off in his Civic Sport. Bruce is currently 2nd place in 8th Street. Jerry Stein comes across with a 38.0. 1st place in D Street for Jerry. That was his 4th run. Bruce Van Hoosen's out on his last run of the day in 8th Street. He's currently sitting 2nd place in his Civic Sport. And Ronald in that Sonic takes off 8th Street. 8th Street battle going on. He's currently 3rd place. Bruce is 2nd. Bruce comes across with a 43.3. Stays in 2nd place. Let's see if Ronald in that Sonic can catch him. And Bruce comes in with a 43.3, stays in 2nd place. And Ronald in that Sonic. Ronald in with a 45.3, so no help for him, but he does stay in 3rd place. Giancarlo's out on course. He's currently 1st place in 8th Street with a 41.9. See if he can find some time. He is 1st place in 8th Street, though. Rachel McLaughlin takes off in her Corolla SE. She's currently 3rd place in Lady SMF. Giancarlo crossing the line with a 41.8. 1st place in 8th Street. There's your class winner. And Rachel's out on course in that Corolla. She's currently 3rd place in Ladies SMF. Ryan Connor on the line in that G Street SC 300 takes off hard. And Rachel's coming across the line with that Corolla. Rachel's in with a 45.0. 45.0. She picks up almost 7 seconds from her first run to her fourth run. Way to go. That's great. And Ryan out there with that SC 300. He's currently first place in G Street. His best time so far has been a 42.0. And Daniel Nelson out in that RX-7. Ryan across the line with a 41.4. First place in G Street. Way to go, Ryan. Class winner. Daniel Nelson out there in that RX-7. Currently first place in STS. His best time so far is a 41.3. Brian Basalo in that Miata takes off. He's currently first place in STR. And Daniel Nelson in that RX-7 crosses with a 41.1. He's first in class in that STS class. And Brian looking fast in that Miata. Matthias Monti takes off. Sorry if I mispronounce. Matthias in that MX-5 takes off. Novice class, he's currently first place. And Brian in that Miata, he's finished with a 40.0. Great run. He's currently first. He finishes first place, STR class. There's your class winner for STR. Way to go, Brian. Matthias in that MX-5. He's currently first place in novice. Now it's going to be hard to beat with a 38.2. 38.2 has been his best time so far. Andy Rhodes in that Camaro SS takes off. He's currently second place in F Street. See if he can grab that top spot. And Matthias in with a 48.5. 48.5. He's your novice class winner for this run. Way to go, Matthias. Andy Rhodes, his best time so far has been a 39.4. Second place in F Street. Oh, and he slid out. Couldn't find the grip. Ron Williams out on course in that BRZ. So Andy Rhodes finishing with a 42.3. He will remain in second in class in the F Street. Ron Williams out on course in that BRZ. He's currently first place in STX. Nick Dunlap takes off trying to beat Caitlin. I don't know. It's going to be hard to beat. Ron Williams crossed the line with a 39.1. 39.1 for Ron. Way to go. That's first place in STX class. Ron's always smooth. Nick Dunlap out. X-Class STU car. Trying to improve on his 36.5 and see if he can do it. And he does not. And with a 36.537. 36.537. Justin Gomez out in his Supra. He's first place in B Street. Justin in with a 42.2, first place in B Street. First place in B Street. Way to go, Justin. And Dylan Bianco out in his Miata. He's currently first place in E Street. Dylan in with a 39.7. 39.7. He is currently first place in E Street. Be hard to beat. And Ivan Yuck out in his Miata. He's currently second place in C Street. His best time so far has been a 49.2. And Joel Colby in his GTIs takes off. And Ivan in his Miata, C Street Miata, coming across the finish line with a 47.0. Second place in C Street for Ivan. Great run, though. Picks up almost 10 seconds from his first run to his fourth run. Steve Lowe taking off in that Mustang GT novice class. He's currently fifth. Joel Colby in his GTI finishing up here.
And there's a guy in between us in packs.
42.9, Joel Colby. His GTI, second place in G Street. And Steve Lowe in that Mustang finishing up. He's currently fifth place in novice. Steve Lowe, 46.9, but off course, unfortunately. He's going to remain in fifth in novice. Nathaniel out in his S4, looking smooth. He's currently sitting second place in novice. Let's see if he can improve on that. 44.2 for Nathaniel DeForest, but unfortunately he picks up a cone. Finds a cone. Will remain in second place in novice. And Mark out in that Veloster, currently sitting second place in D Street with his 44.1. Shane Oren on the line in that Fiesta ST H Street. He's currently sitting fourth place. Mark in that Veloster with 45.8. Second place in D Street. No help, but solid runs anyway. And Shane Oren in that Fiesta ST on course. He's into the big right-hand sweeper here. Into the last slalom. See if he can improve on that 43.7. He's currently fourth place in H Street. Crosses the finish line with a 43. Just picks up a spot. Third place in H Street. Way to go, Shane. Ryan Duploy is out with his all-wheel drive BMW, currently sitting third place in novice. Brad Renson in that MR2 takes off. East Street MR2. He's currently third place. Looking to better his time. And BMW crosses the line with a 45.5. 45.5. Second place in novice. Solid finish. Matthias and Montani out in his MX-5. He's currently third place in novice. Brad Renson's finishing up in his E Street MR2 with a 40.1. Will remain in third street in E Street, or third place rather, in E Street. Eric Orr on the line is E Street Miata. Matthias finishing up. He was currently third place in novice. Let's see if he can improve. Matthias finishing up in an MX-5, 48.1. 48.1 for Matthias. He's going to remain in third place in novice. Eric Orr I think Eric Orr just got called off course, unfortunately. He is currently second place in E Street. Patrick Small in that Eclipse taking off in his H Street Eclipse. And Eric's crossing the line with a 39.4, but off course, unfortunately for Eric. His fourth and final run. He's going to remain second place in E Street. Patrick Small out in that Eclipse. He's currently sitting fifth place in H Street. Let's see if he can pick up a spot or two here. His fastest time of the day so far has been a 48.7. Cordova Valencia and his Miata. Patrick Small in with a 47.9, fifth place in H Street, so no help there, but solid run. Cordova Valencia in that Miata, currently fourth place in novice. Nathaniel DeForest, his S4, currently first place in novice. See if he can improve on his 44.3. Great time. And Cordova finishes up with a 49.8 for Cordova. It's fourth place in novice. Will be his final position in novice class, the fourth place. Looks like Nathaniel might have picked up a cone. He is currently sitting first place in novice, though, but on this run, he looks like he's got a +1. And Nathaniel finishes up with a 44.0, but +1 for him. He'll finish up with first place, grab the first place in novice class. A novice class instructor run in that Super out right now, while Robert and his modded Civic takes off in F Street Prepared. And Robert's currently sitting first place in FSP with a 41.7. Robert, and that's FSP Civic, currently first place, finishing up with this run with a 41.867. I think we got one more car to go, if I'm hearing this correctly. So we got one car left to run, one car, and then we're going to immediately hand out trophies. So Melissa Allen in her Supra gets a run here. She's currently sitting sixth place in the novice class. Let's see if she can improve on that. Her best time so far has been a 56.2. Melissa Allen to the line in that beautiful Supra. Looking to improve on a 56.2. Melissa's trying to beat a 56.2, which is her best time of the day. Currently 6th place in novice. Looking very smooth. Left-hand sweeper. Into the straight. Right-hand sweeper. She's into the last slalom here. Final right turn. Melissa's on the finish line with a 49.8. She picks up 2 seconds. And 2 spots. 2 spots. That put her in 4th place in novice. Way to go, Melissa. Picks up 2 spots.
Trick. All right. Course workers, you are all done. You don't need to stand out there anymore. We are done. Bring your radios in. Everything else can stay out there. Trophies will be happening very, very shortly. Must be present to receive trophy. So since everybody's still here, you might as well come up and witness the trophy presentation. And then during that, we will talk about how we're going to do fun runs and how long lunch break is. If you have a helmet out, if you have a helmet, please return it. We still have a couple people. Melissa, Allen, Rocio, Cordova. We got a couple people that still have our helmets, so please come up and return your helmet. We can, if you're going to stick around for fun runs, we'll get you another one at that point in time.
All right, everybody. So results are printing. And like Caitlin mentioned, you have to be present to claim your trophy, or alternately, if you'd like, we have, instead of a plaque, you can get a credit towards a future event. I think it's $12 for first, $9 for second, and $6 for third. So again, it'll show up in your Motorsport Reg account, and you can use it as a credit towards a future event. They're good for a year. So again, you do have to be present, and Angela's going to start the trophy presentation right now. So if you're interested in picking up a trophy or your credit, go ahead and come on over.
Is this thing on? It is. Okay. Anybody else coming over for trophies? All right. Let's start with the Index Race Tire class. 3 entries, 1 trophy going to Mr. Richard Fix with a PAX time of 34.0. I think he already left. Okay. Next up is the Index Street Tire class. 3 entries, 1 trophy going to Mr. Brian Barcelo and the Miata ND2. I see him at work, but... All right, next up is the Pro Class. I always say when I'm announcing, Caitlin is the one to watch. 4 entries, 2 trophies. Her husband taking 2nd place, and Caitlin with a PAX time of 30.324. Her husband a 30.325. So less than 1,000 of a second on that one. How about that? All right, let's go into ladies class. 3 entries, 1 trophy. I won that class with a PAX time of 31.1. Trying to chase down Caitlin, so thank you, Caitlin, for being my rabbit. All right, Super Street, 4 entries, 2 trophies. 2nd place going to Jason and the Grand Sport Corvette with a time of 38.4. And your class winner is Nick Noblet in the Corvette GS with a time of 37.2. Either of them here? Anybody here? Okay. There's Brian. Brian, do you want a credit or do you want a trophy? Okay. Okay. Welcome. All right, where was I? A Street. A Street, 5 entries, 2 trophies. Gary Meredith coming in 2nd with the Corvette time of a 38.5. Juan Fernandez in the Z06 Corvette coming in with a 38.4. Anybody here? Hi, Juan, right? Would you like a trophy or do you want a credit? Okay. We are getting the plaques in that say 1st place, so just when you come to your next event, we'll get you that plaque. All right. Oh, and there's also like a goodie bin right here if you want to go through that instead of the trophy plaque.
No, that's all right.
Okay. I forgot to open that. I'm filling in for Kevin. Can you tell? Okay. Moving on, we've got C Street action with 2 entries, 1 winner going to Hugo Yuck in the MX-5 with a time of 37.3. Is Hugo here? Oh, okay. Next up, we've got D Street, 2 entries, 1 winner going to Mr. Jerry Stein in the Focus RS with a 38.0. He pulled it out on his last run to see how well he could do. Jerry, do you want a credit or do you want a trophy? Okay. Got it. All right, E Street, 3 entries, 1 winner going to Dylan Bianco in the Miata with a time of 39.6. Dylan, are you here? Hi, Dylan. Trophy or credit? Okay, you can either, I can give you a plaque or something. Okay. We have the okay. Thank you. All right, F Street, gotta change the pages. Sorry for the momentary paper delay. All right. Here we go. Moving on to F Street. 2 entries, 1 trophy going to Lewis Lockshine in the 6-cylinder Camaro. Congratulations. Trophy. You can either pick from there if you want something there, or I can get you that. There you go. And we'll have the first place plaques at the next time. Congratulations. All right, G Street, 2 entries, 1 trophy going out to Ryan Connor with a time of 41.4 for Ryan Connor. Okay, you're welcome. Congrats, we will have the plaques at the next. All right, now moving into H Street, 5 entries, 2 trophies. Second place going to Bruce Van Hoosen in the Civic Sport with a time of 42.4 for Bruce. And your first place winner in H Street goes to Genacio Franzetti in the Abarth 500. Nicely done with a time of 41.8. All right, that is all the street classes. Let's move into Street Touring Extreme STX. 2 entries, 1 trophy going to Mr. Ron Williams. We haven't seen him a while in the BRZ with a time of 38.6 for Mr. Ron Williams. Congratulations. The plaque will be at the next event. All right, get this under control. All right, Street Touring Ultra. 3 entries, 1 trophy going to Kevin Spence with a time of 37.6 going out to Kevin Spence. Anybody? Hi, Kevin. Credit? All right, next street touring class goes with Street Touring Hatch. 2 entries, 1 trophy going to Timothy James in the WRX that you cannot get for $150 a month unless you have a large down payment with a time of, all right, oh my gosh, STH, where did you go? You're there. 39.5. Sorry, the wind is just, you know what the wind's doing. You're all in. Okay, are you here? Okay. Let's move on to Extreme Street B. 2 entries, 1 trophy going to Dan. I know you said your name when you came up for check-in. Your time with a 37.6. And the plaque will be at the next event. Perfect. Thank you. All right. And next up, we've got Cam C. 2 entries, 1 winner. Trophy going to Michael Moore with a time of 40.7 in the Mustang GT. Anybody? Okay. Where are we? Cam. I love Cam. I really love C Prepared too. Just the exhaust. All right. Anyway, and okay, so novices, right? You guys ran in 2 heats. We combine you guys up, and then we give out the trophies. So, if I can get this straight. Novice Street had 15 entries. Now, this is Novice Street Tire. There were 5 trophies. You start with an award from 3rd place on up. But let's start with 5th place going out to Rasan Deploy in the M2. He got a time of 47.6. Next up in 4th place was Elias in the Miata with a time of 45.1. Next up is Spencer Wyman. This is 3rd place. Spencer Wyman in the Focus RS with a time of 44.4 for Spencer. Anybody seen Spencer? Okay. Are you Spencer? You're Rion. Okay, so for 4th, we don't unfortunately have a.
That's fine. I'm just checking.
Okay. No, I appreciate it. Always nice. Always can ask. Okay, let's move on to second place with Nathaniel. Wow, Nathaniel. Come on, Ange. Nathaniel DeForest in the S4 with a time of 44.3.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and your Novice Street winner driving the WRX, Nicholas T. I can't say your last name. Travasi, thank you. With a time of 40.7. Now, trophy, credit, or other. All right.
That's not a hard one.
And we'll have the plaque at the next event.
All right.
And now you go out to your open class. So congratulations, Nick. You go out to open. All right, next up, we've got Novice Race Tire. There was 3 entries. I love the wind, and the wind is not my friend when it comes to paper. 3 entries with your top trophy going to Matthew Mullen in the Mustang with a time of 45.4. Matthew Mullen, nicely done. Okay, so for everyone I told you that we'll have the plaque at the next event, if you cannot make it, we can also mail it to you. So just, we have an email inbox, CFR Solo, that you can hit up and we can work with you there. All right, so let's just go over some fun ones. Raw time of the day goes to Caitlin Dunlap with a 36.5. The expert class comes in with Hugo with a 30.3. That's a PAX time. Expert goes to Caitlin Dunlap with a 30.3. Ladies class goes to Angela with a 31.1. That is a PAX time. Straight class is a 37.2 going out to Nicholas Noblet. Touring going to 37.6 to Kevin Spence. Supplemental classes, not sure what that is. A 37.6 going to Dan S. I can't say your last name. I'm so sorry. Classic American, which is your CAM class, going to Michael Masser and with a 40.7. Street Modified going to Alex Vroman with a 43.0. Modified class 37.9 going to Richard Fix. And your novice is Nicholas Travasi, okay, with a 43.8. And I turn this back over to Nick.
All right, thank you everybody for sticking around. So everybody just got an email, and we're going to post some signs on the trailer. 2:20 p.m. if you want to come back and do fun runs. Like I said, food is, if you didn't bring anything, it's a little bit of a drive. It's 10-15 minutes back towards the highway. At 2:20, you need to have your car in grid ready to go. So 2:20, you need to be back here, parked in grid. Depending on how many people show up in the afternoon, we'll decide how the event's going to be structured. But generally speaking, come on back, get your cars in grid by 2:20, and we will collect everybody up here, have a short driver's meeting to talk about how it's going to go, and we'll get started. So thank you, everybody, for coming out.